let's go into the details of what Management 222, the methodology, how we're going to present it, and some of the aspects in the syllabus that you need to know about. So first of all, let's take a look on my personal philosophy as to what my expectations of myself are in regards to you. I have a teaching philosophy. I have three things that I try to deliver in every single class. I'm not certain if I really deliver them, but in my own mind, I'm making the best effort possible. That being said, my very first one is I want to make certain that in each class you're obtaining some of the knowledge necessary to really fulfill all the academics in the aspect of the topic of employment law and the subject matter we're talking about. So always, number one, it's always the academics. Two, if I do my job really well, my goal is to deliver something in each class so that you, after this class is over with 5 years from now, it's possible you may think back, I remember that guy at IBC. I forget his name, but he told me all about this and he said this would really happen someday, and now I'm actually applying it. If I do my job really well, you're going to be remembering several different concepts in this class that'll be practical for you in the real world outside of academia. If I'm successful at that, I've done my job relatively well. The third thing is I want you to think. Now, that being said, we all think that we're thinking, except for the fact that a lot of times we're just spitting out rote answers as to, yes, here's the question, here's the answer, here's the question, here's the answer. I really want you to think about the concept and its applicability. For instance, we're going to talk about the aspect of discipline eventually when we come through the course. There's different ways of doing it. You can do it, this is how you're supposed to do it. But then there's another way of doing it in the aspect of what is humanly correct and have you protected that person's dignity and respect. Those are big things, and that's what separates normal people from real leaders. So I'm going to be talking about that, but I want you to think about the applicability of this in the academia, real world needs, and if I've done that, I've done all three because I provoked your thinking. The student learning objectives, these are all listed in the syllabus. I could just read this to you, say, identify which employment laws apply to employers and or employees and explain the implications of each. 2, explain at will. If I read that to you, your eyeballs will roll to the back of your head. By the way, if you read a PowerPoint slide in the presentation to your audience, they'll have the same response. I'm not going to do it. You have a syllabus. You're capable of reading it. Here it is, and you can see it in your syllabus. And if you want to read every single detail, feel free. It's only 10 pages long. Here's some more. I want to sit down and hit about the different types of claims, talk about the regulations of recruitment and hiring. I'm going to talk about some of the philosophy you should be having on it, and also about the 3 Ps in the process. Talk about discrimination, talk about sexual harassment, talk about job description, interview questions, evaluations. We're going to cover all these different things. You can see we have a lot of content to cover in this class. Here is the textbook. The ISBN number might change depending upon what you have. I always recommend you get the ebook version of this. Don't bother spending your money on the book itself. When the ebook is out there, it's really relatively inexpensive in comparison to others. But I also include the ebook in the aspect of you will get points as you go through, look at the 12 different chapters that we're going to cover in this class. Email. Make certain on your email you always put in the name of your class and the section number. I teach a lot of classes and I have a lot of communication that happens. I need to know what you are right away. If you don't put down what class that you're in and the section number, my first response back to you is, what class and section number are you in? And then we're going to waste time. Instead of solving a problem, you're going to sit down and just compound the problem. I'd like to respond to you quickly, so include your class number and section number. Don't submit your assignments by email. We have Canvas for that. If you need any help, I'll give you the clue as to where to find it. Assume that every hour of class, and this is a 3-credit hour class, there's 2 hours of work outside the class. Let's see, 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, so make the assumption you're 6. So you have about 4 to 6 hours to study outside the class. But wait a minute, this class is actually an 8-week course. That means that it goes twice as fast as your regular class. you need to sit down and plan to put a minimum of 3 hours after you listen to all the different lectures, 3, 4, 5, or 6 hours every week to be successful in your course. If you've never experienced college, you need to go back, find a good, quiet place to study to help you focus. Part of law is actually memorizing different things. I try to limit that because that's not the way I want to teach. But regardless, you'll have some things to know in the class. And a lot of times you need to have a good environment. So plan for success before you ever start. Use smart study habits. The one that I always push and recommend is whenever I read a technical book, like the employment law book, I take out my magic marker and I go, and I always sit down and I highlight the topic sentence of each paragraph. In that paragraph, then, when I want to go back, I'll read the whole aspect of it. And yes, on an ebook, you can electronically mark that and highlight it in yellow. So when I go back to study, I read the topic sentence or the first sentence of the paragraph. If it's written right, that will be a topic sentence and explain what the rest of the paragraph is about. If I know the topic from that topic sentence during my study period, then I will skip over that for my study for the test. But if I don't, then I read the whole paragraph. It's a really good study method. My test, I build the test really around the PowerPoint presentations as well. I want to cover the material on the test in class. That's how I do it. And you should probably use that as a basis to help study. On the critical thinking, we only have a couple of different discussion boards. When you're asked to participate, make certain you don't just say, yeah, I agree with you, whatever. And so make certain you're engaged in the process. Now, what I've done is I created a tool for me to communicate the class to you in a version that I call a pod class. 2 different words, not one. I take the chapter, I chop it up in pieces, and then I record a lecture on it, and then I send it out to you on an announcement on your email, your college email from IVC, and I send it to you every single morning at 7 o'clock. If it's more than 5 a week, you'll get one at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I even have a few where I do 7 o'clock, noon, and 3. So look for that. You don't have to look at it at 7 o'clock in the morning. You can look at it at the time that's convenient for you. That is what asynchronous is all about. But whenever you have it, pay attention to it. I'm giving it to you in bite-sized pieces to resemble the way that because we're Americans, this is how we think. We only think about 12 minutes long. So the videos are geared to be 8 to 12 minutes long on a daily basis, and you can listen to them over and over again. I also have them in the Canvas module for that week. So you can watch them there all in a row. You can watch them on your phone, or you can do both. Just depends how you want to watch it. But make certain you understand that this is a pod class, and I chop it into pieces, little pods, and you get a bit of it every single day to sit down and keep you current and actively engaged mentally in the concept of employment law. Canvas, it's a big deal. They're there Monday through Friday. They really do an extraordinary job. If you have a Canvas issue, make certain you contact tech support at IVC. They will help you. They're phenomenal in the process. Another one is McGraw-Hill. If you have a problem with the homework module, which is called Connect, here is the student support phone number for you to have. You need to have both these numbers in your phone. Oh, and by the way, magically, look at this. I have them on this PowerPoint slide. I recommend you take your cell phone out right now and take a picture of this slide. Here you have the IVC help desk. Here you also have the Connect help desk. Put them in your phone. It's going to help you not just in this class, but in other classes. IVC help desk, Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 6. Connect help desk is 24/7. The strongest helpers, if you have a technical issue, really are Monday through Friday, but they're actually pretty good and will walk you through any kind of problem and solve your problem in the process. Make certain that you sit down and pay attention to the due dates. If you look, I have this course set up so that you have every single week, you'll have all the assignments that week in a module. You'll see that on Canvas. You have it there. You also have in your first module, your introduction one, I include the syllabus there as well. And on top of that, on the left-hand column of Canvas, you'll see syllabus there. And what really is cool about Canvas, it puts them all in order as the due date. It's kind of a neat tool to have. So you got 3 different ways to check your due dates and assignments. Make certain you pay attention to what's going on. Homework assignments, if they're late, make certain you still turn them in. There's a thing called the power of 0. Did you notice how I dropped my voice for that? The power of 0. The 0 is really powerful. If you take 4 tests, now we don't have 4 tests, we have 3 in this class. If you take 4 tests and you get 3 100s, okay, so you have a 100% average, you obviously know your material, and you skip one of them, and all of a sudden you have a 0. Let's see. 300 divided by 4 means you got a score of just over 70%. The power of 0 will destroy you and your grade point average. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. You're better off always, not just this class, but all your classes. Make certain you submit your assignments. So even if it's late, I will give you 2 different assignments to be late on, but you have to ask if it's a matter of, can you give me a due date extension? And I will do that. So 2 assignments, I do not extend tests. Now, here's the way the tests work. You got 3 tests. I will take the top 2 test scores, and the lowest one I drop. If you miss the test, you're okay because I'll drop that score, but you're being risky on the other 2. So always do all the work. I'd be happy to drop your lowest score because that's what I'll do anyway, and that'll help you. On the drop policy, sometimes the world interferes in your academic schedule. Do not let a class ride and get an F at the end of it, because that F goes into your college record. If you can't handle it, drop the class or let me know and I'll drop the class for you. Don't let a class ride because something happened and you can't participate in it. Always be honest. I do accept artificial intelligence papers, but I want them specifically documented the way that I tell you to do that. If you don't do that, they find it, then I consider that cheating. But make sure you follow my policy in class. Always treat everybody, especially on discussion boards. I really prefer people not to just rubber stamp, yes, I agree with you. Yes, I agree with you. Yes, that's kind of boring. Discussion boards are really there to challenge you academically and make you think, oh, wait a minute, that's one of the goals I want to have for you. Dignity and respect always works. Here are the different areas, the 10 ways that I grade you from the smart books. Remember, they're electronic books, and you get points for every chapter that you read. If you follow all this, we're going to have a great class, and I look forward to sitting down watching you proceed through the concept of employment law. It's interesting, sometimes it's really exciting, and other times it can actually be terrifying in the process in the actual application. Regardless, it's part of every leader's life to sit down and deal with employment law because it's all about people. Take care.